I know how this sounds. I really do. But before you judge me, just hear me out. I'm not insane. I'm just devoted. Sydney Sweetie isn't just some actress to me. She's a living myth, the last real star in a sea of filters and AI-generated fame. Her smile feels like warmth after frostbite. Her voice lingers in your head hours after an interview ends. She's flawless, but not plastic. She's there, raw and real, just far enough out of reach to keep you dreaming. I never missed a post, a new role, a red carpet look, an interview where she'd push hair behind her ear. I memorized it all. She was my ideal, my muse, my impossible maybe. She made me feel wild. So when I saw the announcement that Sydney had partnered with Dr. Squeech to release a limited edition soap, Bathwater Blizz, made with her actual bathwater, I thought it was a joke, a marketing stunt. But it wasn't. Only 5,000 bars made, limited to one per customer, launching June 6th at 10 a.m. sharp. I prepared like I was buying tickets to heaven. 3 alarms, 2 browsers open, a full cup of coffee and my credit card memorized. It sold out in under 60 seconds. I stared at the screen, disbelief morphing into panic. I'd missed my only chance. No way. I refreshed eBay like a gambler with a hot hand. 10 minutes later, boom, one real listing. Factory sealed, verified, $300. I waited 3 days. Every hour crawled. When it arrived, the box was a soft, aquatic blue, clean and minimalist. Bathwater Blizz, limited edition, was printed in crisp white, centered beneath a silver water droplet that seemed to shimmer faintly, like it was watching me. The moment I cracked it open, the scent hit me like a dream colliding with reality. Floral, but not fake. Creamy, but not sugary. Something clean, something salty, something alive. The bar was smooth, glossy, almost too perfect to touch. I ran my fingers across it like it might sing. Then I leaned in, slowly, and breathed it in. The world stopped. I saw her. Not in the room, not exactly. Maybe in my head, clear as glass. Sydney, damp hair clinging to her cheeks, water trickling down her face, eyes soft and searching. She didn't smile. She didn't move. She just looked at me. Then she was gone. Just a flash, like sunlight in your eyes. I stumbled back a step, blinking hard. My hand still gripped the soap like a relic. My pulse thumped through my fingertips. She was real. That moment was real. I had to try it. I drew a bath, water hot enough to fog the mirror. I didn't like candles or play music. I wanted silence. I wanted her. The soap lathered with ease, thick and pearlescent, like it melted into me. The scent swelled in the heat, enveloping everything. It was like she was there. Not as a ghost, as a presence, something intelligent, watching. I sat still. My mind drifted. The foam wrapped my arms, clung to my chest, ran between my fingers like silk, and with every pass of the soap, the scent grew deeper, denser. My thoughts unraveled. I wasn't alone. A pressure formed just behind me, gentle but real, like someone brushing past in a crowd. I froze. The water rippled. Breath touched the nape of my neck.
You've wanted this,
Someone whispered. I couldn't speak. My mind was buzzing and numb all at once. stayed there for a long time. When I finally stood up, my skin tingled. The scent clung to me like a second skin. I pressed the bar to my chest. I couldn't put it down. I didn't dry off. I didn't get dressed. I walked straight to bed, still damp, still holding it. Sleep took me instantly. I woke up in a fog. My sheets were damp. My hands still gripped the soap like I'd clutched it all night. Then came the itch. First on my forearm, then my ribs, my scalp, my thighs. I sat up, confused, scratching, looked down. My skin was covered in small red bumps, raised and inflamed. I stumbled into the bathroom, turned on the light. The bumps moved. I leaned closer. My stomach flipped. On the surface of one, just one, I saw a tiny, perfectly formed face. Delicate cheekbones, full lips, wide eyes, her face. I yelped and staggered back, nearly falling into the tub. But curiosity pulled me forward again. More bumps, more faces. They stared at me, silent. Some smiled, some frowned, some just watched. My heart pounded like a drum. I turned on the faucet and shoved the soap under it, lathering until my skin went raw. But the bumps didn't fade. They pulsed. They multiplied. I rubbed harder. My arms bled. Still they smiled. Then the lights flickered. The mirror fogged without heat. No steam, just cold breath on glass. And she was there. Sydney. Not a vision, not a reflection, something else. She sat in a dark tub, green water rising to her collarbone. Her skin was smooth and wet, but her eyes were wrong. Too wide, too empty. She opened her mouth.
You wanted a part of me. Now I'm taking what's mine.
I blinked. She was closer. The soap slipped from my hand. I couldn't move. Fingertips pressed against my spine. A voice purred into my ear.
Let me clean you. Let me purify you.
I didn't resist. I couldn't. Her hands dragged the soap across my arms, my chest, my face. Her voice lilted with venom.
You bought me like a product, a souvenir. You wore my scent like a second skin. How does it feel? Using a woman's bathwater?
Her voice was soft, but it slithered down my spine like ice.
Do you feel powerful now?
She pressed her fingers into my sores. They burst like blisters, oozing heat and sound, whispers. I heard her memories. Casting calls, harsh lights, men's voices, clinical and cruel.
Smile wider.
Lose 5 pounds.
Don't talk unless you're asked.
And always, you're perfect, you're perfect, you're perfect.
Men like you.
She leaned close, her voice turning bitter, acidic.
You're all the same. Greedy little pigs pretending it's love.
Sydney's nails scraped down my back. My skin peeled like tissue.
You bought a piece of me, and now I own you. You disgusting little thing. Let me scrub you.
I woke up alone, soaked, trembling. The soap was gone, the water drained. My skin, smooth, clean, as if nothing had happened. But the mirror told the truth. I wasn't there, only her, sitting in the tub, smiling, mouthing the word.
Next one.
I woke up gasping, drenched in sweat, hands clutching my throat like I was choking. It was just a dream. That's what I kept telling myself. But the pain in my neck felt real, like something had been stretched, like I had been hanged and survived. In the dream, my neck had stretched, impossibly long, like an eel gliding through the dark. I floated weightless, led by my own head through the night, past sliding doors and into the garden. That's where I saw them. My husband and a girl, no older than 20. She giggled at something he whispered. He brushed her cheek the way he used to brush mine. And then they kissed, bold and unashamed. Except I was there, or at least my head was. And when he noticed it, my face, my floating head, he screamed and swung his katana. A blur of silver flashed, and I woke up. I sat there, knees drawn to my chest, watching him sleep. His breath was slow, steady, undisturbed, like he hadn't just appeared in my nightmare with another woman. The image still burned behind my eyes. A nightmare, I told myself. A trick of the mind. But deep down, I knew better. That wasn't a dream, it was a warning. In the days that followed, I began to see it. The scent of strange incense on his robes, not the kind I burned for the altar or wore on my sleeves. It lingered, delicate and wrong. One evening, folding his inner kimono, I noticed a faint red smear along the collar. At first, I thought it was crushed plum blossom, but when I touched it, it smeared Benny, lip dye, the kind worn by young courtesans. He laughed when I asked.
Probably from the crowd by the river. Some drunk girl stumbled too close.
But I knew. No one touches a magistrate's robes, not by accident. When I confronted him, he smiled. Not with guilt, but with calm dismissal.
Your mind is too wild. You'll drive yourself mad with superstition. You'll make yourself sick.
Later, I overheard him whispering to his mother, saying I was losing my balance, that I might need rest. She pulled me aside in the garden days later, her hand cold on my wrist.
You mustn't let jealousy consume you. Wear your crimson kimono again. Put on makeup the way he used to like.
I wanted to scream. I wanted to tear my head from my shoulders and fling it at the wall. But I didn't. I bowed. I smiled. I poured tea like a good wife. And every night I dreamed of my neck growing longer, slithering through darkness, creeping toward truth. No one believed me. Not the other women at the market, not the shrine maiden I sought for advice. They all spun the same tale, that I was unstable, that I was unraveling. And he was the victim of a clingy, insecure wife. Then came the night. He was unusually tender. He brought me tea himself, said it was a calming blend from Kyoto.
For your nerves.
He smiled. I should have known. The taste was bitter, unfamiliar, but I drank it anyway, because I still wanted to believe him. I collapsed near the hallway, and from the corner of my fading vision, I saw him, standing over me, watching, then darkness. When I awoke, I couldn't move. My arms hung useless, my throat burned. From rope. He had strung me up from the ceiling beam. My body swayed gently, helplessly. I could hear him moving in the other room, opening jars, striking flint. The scent of lantern oil filled the air. He was setting the house on fire. The flames moved quickly, licking through the shoji walls, devouring everything we built. Smoke poured in, thick and choking. My lungs heaved, but the noose bit deeper. I should have died, but I didn't. Not yet. In that moment between fire and breath, I felt something rise in me. A pull, a pressure. My spine cracked, my throat expanded, my neck stretched. It didn't stop, longer and longer. Until my feet touched the floor again, though I still hung. Until the rope no longer choked me, only the memory of it. Drifting upward, my neck snaking through the fire like a silk banner of death. I slipped out of the burning frame, silent and weightless, into the cold night. Later, the neighbors whispered. They said they saw something rise from the fire. A woman's head, a twisting neck, a floating curse. They gave it a name, Rokurakubi. I became a breath beneath the door, a shadow above the futon, a nightmare woven into tatami. I whispered to unfaithful men. I curled my neck through their walls. I watched them shatter one by one. But the man I was looking for, he had vanished. Until that night, I found him in a new town, a new house, a new wife, pregnant. He still wore that smug, gentle face, the one he used when lying, when controlling. He had rebuilt his life. But I had not forgotten. That night, I slipped through the floorboards of their home. She lay asleep beside him, her belly full. He snored softly, unaware. I hovered above him, my neck stretched like a vine, my face inches from his. His eyes opened, and he screamed. He lunged for the katana beneath the futon, the same katana he once threatened me with in silence. He swung, steel met phantom flesh. My head fell to the tatami with a soft thud. Then it turned and smiled, because you cannot kill what you've already murdered. The woman stirred beside him.
What's happening?
My neck began to coil. Around his legs, his waist, his arms, his throat. It slithered tight and then it rotted. Flesh decayed on contact, black veins blooming beneath his skin. His body shuddered. The face on the floor, mine, began to crack. The eyes clouded, the skin peeled, the mouth opened. I looked at them both, his frozen terror, her rising scream, and whispered, I will always come back, because my neck still stretches, and the longer it grows, the closer I get, and you cannot escape your karma. I dreamed of the crown since I was little, but no one told me that to wear it I'd have to sell my skin, my blood, my name, and eventually even my smile. My name is Rachel. I grew up in a 10-square-meter slum apartment with a leaky roof and rats that gnawed the corners of our rice bags. While other kids played doctor or teacher, I practiced smiling in a cracked mirror, whispering answers to imaginary beauty pageant questions. I didn't dream of fame. I dreamed of escape, from debt, from hunger, from the burning shame on my mother's face every time we borrowed rice. I believed the crown could be a way out, that beauty could be my one currency in a world that charged interest on being poor. So when they came to me, corporate-looking men with briefcases and practiced smiles. I didn't hesitate. They said,
"We've paved the road for you. You become Miss National, then an influencer, live stream beauty products, a stable career. Just one condition. We implant neural interface to keep your performance optimal."
They called it a win-win. I called it salvation. The training began immediately. For 3 months, I was kept in a white facility where my posture, speech, and even eye-blinking rate were corrected. There were no clocks, no windows, only bright lighting and cameras. Every time I messed up, flubbed a line, missed a smile cue, the neural wires shocked me, not sharp pain. Number A, searing current that jolted through my spine like my bones were melting. At first I cried, then I screamed, but no one came, so I learned to stop resisting. And then I learned to smile. The investors came next, powerful men, silent, evaluating. They sat in rooms where I served wine and compliments, where my job was to amuse, flatter, obey. My manager whispered,
"This is part of the journey. They made you, now you entertain them."
I nodded, not out of agreement, out of instinct, because hesitation meant another electric jolt. A reminder, I was no longer a person, I was a product. My value was in performance, in packaging, in pliability. I won the crown that winter. The lights, the applause, the televised tears. I became the nation's sweetheart. My face appeared on magazines, milk cartons, digital billboards. The whole country celebrated the fairy tale, the poor girl who became a queen. But the real coronation came later, alone, in a locked hotel suite. Instead of jewels, they handed me a live stream rig, a ring light, a branded bathrobe. The crown stayed on, but it wasn't authentic. I never felt its weight until that night.
"Time to earn back your value,"
they said. I was now the face of Serum X99, a skin-whitening miracle. I sold it every night for 4 hours straight, smiling, winking, thanking thousands of fans for their purchases. I laughed. I shared skincare tips. I told anecdotes carefully written for me. The neural interface was still in me, now so deep they twitched when I breathed. Sometimes I felt them pulsing under my skin like living vines, coiled into my nervous system. I asked when they'd remove them.
"When your audience retention drops,"
they replied. They didn't need to say more. I understood. As long as I was profitable, I was theirs. One night, I accidentally dropped a bottle of serum backstage. It cracked open, oozing something thick, veiny, twitching, alive. I screamed. The system zapped me. Don't overreact. Keep smiling. Was I selling cosmetics or curses? Every jar I shipped could have carried something grotesque. But the fans believed. They trusted me. They adored me, and that made it worse. I tried to pull the wires out once, locked myself in a bathroom, yanked a connector near my forehead. My vision blurred. Blood mixed with static. I lost all sensation in my left arm for hours. They found me, reattached the wires, increased the voltage, cut my rations. I wasn't punished with prison. I was punished with performance. You are valuable, but replaceable. That night I cried without making a sound. Even my sobs had to be beautiful. So I went live one last time, but not to sell. My name is Rachel, I told the camera. I'm not free. I'm controlled. Everything you've bought from me is a lie. Please, help me. They reported my video. Within hours, my name was scrubbed from the internet. My pageant footage deleted. My fan pages gone. My face blurred in photos. My existence turned into a glitch in the system. They yanked out my neural interface, violently, without anesthetic. My skin tore, my memory fragmented. And then they replaced me. A new girl, younger, brighter, paler, shinier. She wore my dresses, my smile. She called herself Rachel 2.0.
Sister Rachel is taking a break.
She giggled.
I'll carry her legacy.
The fans believed her. They moved on like I was a software update. Now I rent a moldy room in the outer slums. No crown, no fans, just my bruised body and a cheap burner phone. I can still feel the ghost of the threads, phantom pain twitching beneath my skin. Every month I must pay rent, so I go on live stream again. This time no wires, no script, no lighting team. Just me and a cracked phone camera. I peddle fake diet pills with forced laughter and cracked lips. I mimic the same expressions I once sold for millions, but now it's for pennies. I laugh not because I'm shocked, but because I'm starving. I smile even though my teeth ache. I say babe to strangers who donate tips. I don't care what the product is. I don't ask what it does. I just read the price and the discount and the made-up benefits. It doesn't even matter anymore. As long as it's cheap, as long as someone out there buys it. The cheaper, the better. The faster it sells, the longer I survive. Because the only thing more brutal than being controlled is being forgotten.
I used to be adored. They called me a natural beauty. Effortless, untouched, the golden standard. Cameras followed me. Brands begged for my face. I was the fantasy. Myth made flesh. I didn't need to try. I just was. Then came the DM. Didn't know you were on OnlyFans. You're wild in those vids. At first, I laughed. A scam? A troll? I clicked the link. My breath caught. It was me. Or it looked exactly like me. Naked, moaning, twisting, pleading. My skin, my voice, my movements. Even the faint scar on my left hip from a jet ski accident when I was 19. I was doing things I'd never done. Things I'd never let anyone do to me. I felt sick, violated. I reported the account, threatened legal action. It was removed within hours. But the next morning, it was back. Different username. Same content. Only now the videos were even more perfect. Soft lighting, cinematic focus, background music synced to every breath, every thrust, every gasp. The way the light caressed her skin, it was like watching worship. I hated it, but I watched it, all of it. And later that night, when I stood in front of my mirror, my hands trembled. I looked tired, puffy, uneven, my pores too wide, my smile too tight. Not like her, not like the woman on the screen. It started with a little Botox, then lip fillers, new gym routine, new diet. But it wasn't enough. I went further. Cheek sculpting, chin reshaping, skin bleaching, rib contouring. Each surgery a step closer to the fantasy. I told myself it was to stay competitive, but deep down, I knew what I was doing. I was rebuilding myself to become her. My agent noticed. She said my smile didn't move right, that something in my eyes had gone. Still. Friends stopped texting. The silence got loud. I deleted them all. I launched my own OnlyFans. I studied every movement from the fake videos. Every glance. Every moan. I bought the same sheer crimson robe. I even lit my bedroom to match the artificial glow of her scenes. But the views were abysmal. Her account, the fake, was pulling in hundreds of thousands. Mine, a few hundred. Maybe. The comments burned more than any scalpel. Is this even the same person? This is why AI cannot compare to human. This one moves like wood. $3. Not worth. $3. I used to make $3 million per film. That's when something snapped. I watched her videos obsessively, mimicked every movement, tilted my chin until it ached, smiled until my jaw cramped. I stopped sleeping. I stopped eating. My thoughts began to stutter, like corrupted data. Sometimes I'd walk into a room and forget where I was. Other times I heard her voice, soft, inside my ears, inside my head. During a live stream one night it happened. My camera's phone feed froze, but the video kept going. She was there, smiling, tilting her head, winking. "You want to become like me?" she whispered. I screamed and threw the computer. Shards of glass bit into my feet, but she was still there, staring back from the black screen, blinking out of sync with me. She wasn't pretending anymore. Things got worse. Her face showed up everywhere. Paused commercials, glitching elevator screens, blinking on my smart fridge. People on the street would glance at me, then frown. One guy walked past me and muttered, "She's damn hot." But that wasn't me. I hired a hacker to trace the origin of the videos. When he returned, his face had lost all color.
These files, they weren't uploaded. They originated from inside the server. No creation date, no owner. They just exist.
He looked at me like I was insane. Then his expression changed. Condescending, amused.
That's it? You dragged me all the way here just to show me your But tell me, did you use CGI or something? Because in real life, you're nowhere near as hot as in those videos.
Something in me snapped. A fire surged behind my ribs. Rage, shame, and something worse. I wanted to prove him wrong, to prove I was better than the fake. Without thinking, I stood up, took off my coat and let it fall to the floor. Lace clung to my skin like second flesh. "Does that look fake to you?" I asked, voice low, shaky but defiant. He laughed, a short barking sound, disgusted.
Seriously? That's your move? She's smoother. She doesn't try so hard.
His eyes skimmed over me like I wasn't even real.
At least the fake knows how to sell it.
I slapped him, hard. He wiped the corner of his mouth, spat at my feet, and hissed through clenched teeth.
Oh, try harder!
Then he left, and I was alone with the screen again. One night, while I was practicing in front of the mirror, mimicking her expressions, her poses, trying to become her, she stepped out. Not a hallucination, not a dream. She walked out of the screen, barefoot, silent, smiling. She moved with a calm, uncanny grace, and stood before me like a reflection made flesh. She didn't attack. She didn't speak right away. She just looked at me, with a kind of pity, a knowing. Then she whispered, "You've been doing it wrong. Let me help." Her fingers touched my shoulders, adjusted my spine. She repositioned my hips, lifted my chin with one finger. Every movement was delicate, almost loving. She showed me how to breathe, Slow, silky, seductive. How to smile like a secret sin. How to move like temptation made real. And for the first time, I didn't feel shame. I didn't feel fear. I felt seen. I felt right. Guess which one of us was real?
Pixie dust. Want to fly? Then fly.
I used to believe in magic. When I was little, I'd curl up in my blanket fort with a flashlight and a tattered old copy of Peter Pan. I memorized the lines, whispered them like prayers. Second star to the right and straight on till morning. While other kids dreamed of being astronauts or superheroes, I only had one wish: to meet Peter, to go to Neverland, to never grow up. I tied ribbons to my arms and leapt from furniture, convinced I'd fly if I just believed hard enough. But I did, and it hurt. Adulthood came like rust, slow and ugly. I didn't notice it at first, just the creeping sense that everything I did was hollow, performative, one mask after another. I tried to do everything right: college, office job, smile for the company newsletter, meet deadlines, exceed expectations. But nothing ever felt like mine. I was a child in an adult's skin, mimicking motions I didn't understand. Then last Tuesday, I got fired. Restructuring, they called it. I walked out with a cardboard box and a question I couldn't shake. Is this all life is? I didn't go home. I wandered the city instead, faceless in the rush hour blur. Concrete above, filth below. Lights that never blink. People that never look up. Eventually, I found myself climbing the fire escape of a derelict building, half out of curiosity, half because I didn't know where else to go. That's when I saw him. He stood on the rooftop, barefoot and grinning, looking far too young for a place this old. His hair wild, eyes glinting with something between mischief and madness.
Hey,
He said, cocking his head.
you look lost.
I hesitated. Do I know you? His smile widened.
Maybe.
Something about him felt familiar, like a dream I hadn't finished having. He stepped closer.
Tell me something. Do you hate being a grown-up?
I opened my mouth, but no words came. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small glass vial filled with sparkling white powder.
Pixie dust. Want to fly?
I don't know why I took it. Maybe because I wanted to believe. Maybe because I had nothing else to lose. I sprinkled dust on myself and breathed in. It hit instantly. The city lights melted into watercolors. Gravity forgot its job. My heart was weightless, and I was young again, running barefoot in the rain, laughing without reason. And Peter was there holding my hand, saying,
Welcome back.
That night, he brought me to Neverland. Not the island from the book, but a broken warehouse lit with string lights and painted stars. A dozen other runaways huddled there, dancing, laughing, flying on the dust.
These are the Lost Boys. We don't care how old you are, just how young you feel.
Each of them had stories, whispered between hits. A girl who overdosed on Adderall in a locked library. A boy who jumped off a dorm roof and survived. A dancer whose parents never once came to a recital. Here, There were no clocks, no rules, no names, only dust and freedom. And for a while, I was happy. I forgot about bills, deadlines, disappointments. Peter said we didn't need the past or the future, just now. Just fly. But reality has sharp teeth. One morning I woke to screaming. Cubby, one of the youngest lost boys, was lying twisted near the edge of the rooftop. Limbs bent wrong, face frozen mid-laugh. I wanted to scream, to cry, to run, but the dust, God, the dust, made everything seem like a dream, even death. More days passed, or maybe weeks. Time didn't matter anymore. I started forgetting things. My last name, my old apartment, my face in the mirror. Sometimes I heard voices below, the city calling me back. But Peter would lean close and whisper,
They never loved you. Not like I do.
and I believed him, until the sirens came. One night, flashing lights lit up Neverland. Uniforms kicked down the doors. Screams tore through the air.
Police, down on the ground! Hands where we can see them!
You're under arrest!
Peter didn't run. He stood in the middle of it all, arms wide, smiling like a martyr.
You're ruining the magic! They were happy here!
A cop slammed him to the ground. The last vial rolled from his hand, shattering on concrete. Tink grabbed me, tears mixing with glitter on her cheeks.
Run! He said if the grown-ups came, we run.
So I did. I sprinted across rooftops, one after another, heart hammering. Behind me, shouts, boots, metal clashing. In front, the last building edge. No ladder, no door, just air, and a 12-story drop. I turned. A spotlight hit my chest.
Stop right there!
No way out. I reached into my coat. My last vial. My last lie. Peter's voice echoed in my head.
You just have to believe.
I tipped the dust into my body. It shimmered. I didn't hesitate. The city blurred. The ground disappeared. I took a step forward, into nothing, and I flew.
Tinky Winky! Dipsy!
La la. At 78, I was hailed as a humanitarian icon. Tamsin, former orphanage director, who dedicated her life to disabled and abandoned children. That's what the articles said. The interviews, the awards. They called me the mother of the lost, the savior of the forgotten. But if I had a choice, I'd rather they called me Funny Madame. I smiled in all the photographs, practiced humility, spoke of sacrifice. And recently, in celebration of my lifelong service, they gifted me something I didn't even ask for. A lifetime stay at a luxury retirement estate. Private suite, personal caregiver, round-the-clock comfort. All I had to do, they said, was close my eyes.
Just sleep and you'll wake up there.
So I did. And when I woke, the sky had turned grey. The room was tasteful, quiet. No ticking clocks, no footsteps, just stillness. It should have felt peaceful. But peace doesn't hop in the dark. The first night I heard it. Thump. Clack, 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 clack. Footsteps in rhythm, like someone was dancing. Then the TV flickered on. Static. Then colours. Then that god-awful jingle. Tinky Winky. Dipsy. La La. Po. My stomach turned. Something old, rotten, long buried inside me cracked open. With a trembling hand, I grabbed the remote and hit power.
The screen went black, but 5 seconds later, back on. I pulled the plug from the wall, still on, still singing. And then my knees cracked, but no nurse in sight. I dragged myself out, looking for them. I thought this package was convenient, but it's completely useless. The hallway was pitch dark, with only the flickering white light outside the window. The wind howled, bitter and sharp as a knife. The clack-clack sound and the TV continued to disturb me. Then, knock-knock, knock-knock. Soft, deliberate, at my door. I opened it. No one. I leaned forward, and something slammed into me. Hard. I crashed face first into snow. The cold stole the scream right out of me. "You little bastard!" I shouted, struggling to sit up. "You think this is funny? You'll be punished, do you hear me?" Only the wind answered, shrieking and gnawing at my skin. I stumbled through the snow, barefoot, tried the windows. All sealed shut. My feet cracked open. Skin tore on the ice. Each step felt like walking on needles dipped in acid. Then, darkness. I woke beneath thick blankets, swaddled like a corpse. A young man stirred porridge beside me.
"You shouldn't go out like that,"
he said softly.
"There are people here who really hate you, even if you don't remember them."
The TV was still on. Still that song. Tinky Winky, Dipsy, Lala, Poe. I groaned. "Turn it off. I don't want to hear that nonsense." He didn't move.
"Is that why you never let the four of us watch it?"
he asked, not looking at me. I narrowed my eyes. "You don't understand what it's like taking care of crippled little monsters. You can't afford softness, not when they scream all night and piss themselves." He finally turned to face me, and I froze. His face burned, melted like candle wax, red, raw, one eye white and blind. He smiled.
"Oh,"
he said. The name struck me like a hammer. "No! You died! You died in the fire! That was decades ago."
"I lived,"
he whispered.
"barely, in darkness. I watched them praise you, worship you."
I tried to crawl out from under the blanket, but I couldn't feel my legs. Maybe they'd gone numb from the earlier cold. Then my legs fell to the floor. I shrieked, screamed until my throat tore. Poe stepped closer, calm.
"I helped you,"
he said.
"You don't have to walk anymore. Just rest. Let us care for you."
He lifted a spoonful of porridge. "No, no, don't!" He shoved it into my mouth. Boiling hot, I choked, gagged, tried to spit it out. Another spoon, and another.
You used to feed us with rusty spoons, remember? Made us swallow even when we cried, even when our mouths bled.
I vomited. He sighed.
And now you're just wasting food.
He scooped the vomit back up, fed it to me again. I convulsed, body bucking against the blankets. No use.
You said we should be grateful. That we owed you. You think anyone else would feed freaks like you? That's what you said.
I wept, and I remembered. The attic, the beatings, the night I spilled gasoline, struck the match. 4 people locked in. No one survived. At least that's what I told the press. Electrical fire. I had sobbed in the interviews. Tragic accident. They believed me. built my statue, called me saint. Poe rose. Gasoline sloshed in the can he carried.
You wanted silence. Now you'll burn in it.
He poured it across the floor, the curtains, my bed, and my body. The stench of fuel rushed up my nose, sharp and dizzying. The TV blared louder. Tinky Winky? Dipsy? Lala? Poe? Poe struck a match.
You always said, "This is how I take care of you."
He dropped the flame.
Now, let me take care of you the same way.
Fire crawls across the room like a memory. The smoke is thick with screams I once silenced. I crawl, but there's nowhere left to go. The flames kiss my skin, and I think maybe this is what they felt. Above it all, the TV howls. Tinky Winky, Dipsy, Lala, Poe. Again, and again, and again.
I have always loved creatures others feared, snakes especially, misunderstood, much like myself. People see them as symbols of death, as lurking evils waiting to strike. But I knew better. A snake only bites when threatened, only kills when forced. Treat them with kindness, and they will be gentle in return. Yet humans do not understand such things. They fear what they do not know. They whispered behind my back, called me wicked for keeping serpents as companions. They envied my beauty, my wisdom, my devotion to Athena. Their jealousy was like poison, spreading through their words, their gazes. But I paid them no mind. My heart belonged to the goddess of wisdom, and I lived only to serve her. Then, he came, Poseidon, a god as vast and unknowable as the ocean itself. His voice was the crashing tide, his eyes the abyss. We met by chance on the shore. He weaved promises of protection, of love, of a world where I would never be alone. It was tempting, but my heart belonged to Athena, and so I refused him. Yet I did not know that my sincerity would lead me into darkness. His hands were heavy, suffocating, drowning me beneath a wave I could not escape. He did not need force, only a whisper, a cup of wine laced with something unseen, something that turned my limbs to stone before my curse ever did. And when I woke, broken and defiled, it was not his face I saw. It was Athena's. Her wrath was like a storm, her voice a blade that cut me deeper than anything Poseidon had done. I fell to my knees, pleading, begging her to see the truth, but she only looked down at me as though I was filth, a stain upon her sacred temple.
"You have broken your vow,"
she said, her voice void of mercy.
"Your beauty has led to your corruption. It will do so no longer."
I screamed as the curse took hold. My hair twisted, writhed, transformed into hissing vipers that coiled around my face. My skin burned, my veins turned to ice. The first time I opened my eyes, the priestess who had once been my friend turned to stone before me. One by one, everyone I loved, and who had loved me, met the same fate, frozen in front of my helpless gaze. I ran. I hid in the darkest corners of the earth, veiling my face, pressing my fingers into my cursed eyes, as if I could gouge them out and be free. But the serpents wrapped around my wrists, hissing warnings, stopping me from my own destruction. They were my jailers as much as my only companions. I hated them. I hated myself. I hated him. Poseidon sat upon his throne, untouched, unpunished, while I became the monster. My rage consumed me and I let it. I let it fester, let it twist into something dark, something deadly. If the gods would not take justice for me, I would take it myself. I went after his temples first. I found the men who worshipped him, who prayed to him, with hands still stained with the blood of the women they had defiled. They screamed as they turned to stone, their prayers turning to ash on their lips. I shattered their bodies into dust beneath my feet. But Poseidon did not care. I was nothing to him, a mere mortal, an insect squirming beneath the weight of a god. My vengeance was a drop in his ocean, meaningless against the vastness of his power. I stopped trying. Instead, I turned my gaze toward men like him. The ones who took what they wanted, the ones who whispered lies with honeyed tongues, the ones who thought themselves untouchable. They learned fear when they saw me. They learned what it meant to be hunted. I became the nightmare they told their sons about, the whisper in the dark. They set traps, they gathered their weapons, they came for me in numbers. And they failed, time and time again. They came at night, thinking they could strike unseen. I heard their boots crunch against gravel, their breath catching in their throats when they caught sight of my veiled form. The bravest among them stepped forward, sword trembling in his grip. I pulled back my hood. He locked eyes with me. The terror in them lasted only a second before his body seized, his flesh hardening, his skin turning grey. His lips parted in a silent scream as his muscles froze, as his soul was ripped from his form and trapped in lifeless stone. I had long since stopped counting how many men I had turned to statues. Their expressions of fear, of agony, of disbelief. They no longer haunted me. But what if they succeeded? Would they call it victory? Would they sing songs of their triumph, boast of slaying the monster that was once a woman? I no longer know if this is a curse or a blessing. For now, no one can ever hurt me again.
To whoever finds this letter, I have always hated myself. I was never a striking beauty. My features were plain, unremarkable. People said my face lacked sharpness, that my eyes were too small, my jaw too round. In a world where appearance dictated fate, I felt invisible. I sought answers in the whispers of fortune-tellers, and each time they confirmed my greatest fear. My face held no promise of fame, no fortune written in my features. You do not have the destiny of a star, one told me, peering into my face with quiet finality. Those words echoed in my mind for years, fueling an obsession that would eventually consume me. I wanted to change, but they told me it would take more than just a simple fix. My naive, foolish self, desperate and full of determination, believed them. I was young when I first stepped into the clinic. It was before the turn of the millennium, when cosmetic surgery was still crude, its promises far greater than its reality. I was naive, believing that a scalpel could carve perfection. The doctor assured me that beauty was just an injection away. I did not question him when he plunged the needle into my skin, filling my face with substances I could not name. At first, I felt nothing but excitement. My skin stretched tight, my chin more defined. I thought I was becoming the woman I had always dreamed of. The first few days, I admired my reflection, running my fingers over my sharper jawline, my fuller lips. I could almost believe I was beautiful, but the changes did not stop. My face began to swell, grotesquely ballooning beyond recognition. The tightness became unbearable, my skin straining as if it would split. My cheeks puffed unnaturally, my forehead bulged, and a strange numbness crept over my features. I awoke each morning to find my reflection had twisted further into something monstrous, The more I tried to hide it with makeup, the more it became clear this was no normal reaction. Panic set in. I sought out other clinics, desperate for help. They examined me with clinical detachment before delivering the verdict. I had been injected with cooking oil. Cooking oil. The words rattled in my skull. I could not process them. I wanted to scream, to demand answers, but all I could do was stare as they explained that the oil had seeped into my tissues, impossible to remove completely. The horror was unbearable. I tried to undo the damage, but every attempt at correction only made it worse. More surgeries, more injections, each one a desperate attempt to erase the nightmare staring back at me in the reflection. My skin, once stretched too tight, now sagged in strange places. The tissue swelled unevenly, my cheeks grotesquely large, my lips stiff and misshapen. My nose, once small, had thickened, losing its definition. The more I fought against the transformation, the more it consumed me. As my face distorted further, I became unrecognizable. The skin lost its shape, stretched and sagged in unnatural ways. My features no longer aligned. My cheeks swelled unevenly. My lips twisted into a permanent grimace. I remember the horror in my boyfriend's eyes when he last visited. He could not hide his disgust, no matter how much he tried to feign sympathy. After that day, he stopped coming altogether. Soon, no surgeon would touch me. They all shook their heads, their pity sharper than any knife. It's too late. Nothing can be done. But I refused to accept their words. I did not dare show my face in public. I avoided the outside world as much as possible, locking myself away in my darkened room. I could not bear the stares, the whispers, the disgust written on strangers' faces. But even in isolation, I could not accept my life in such ugliness. Those doctors, who earned fortunes sculpting beauty, had no solution for me. If they could not save me, then I would save myself. I turned to the streets, to the black market, to syringes filled with liquid nightmares. I no longer cared what was inside them. If it promised to smooth my skin, to restore my beauty, I took the risk. Alone in the dark room, I treated myself with the needle of hope. My face became a melting mask, my features distorting into something not quite human. My hands trembled as I traced my swollen cheeks, the uneven patches of flesh where the injections had hardened into lumps beneath my skin. I looked like a wax figure left too close to the fire. People recoiled when they saw me. Strangers whispered behind my back. I stopped leaving my house, stopped answering the door, stopped looking into mirrors, and stopped everything. If you are reading this letter, then I have gone somewhere far away from here. My name is Han Mi-ok. Once, I dreamed of beauty. I longed for admiration, for the kind of allure that could captivate an entire room. I wanted to be loved, to be remembered, to be immortal in the eyes of the world. But now, all that remains of me is this letter and the reflection that haunts my mirror.
Pixie dust. Want to fly? Then fly.
I used to believe in magic. When I was little, I'd curl up in my blanket fort with a flashlight and a tattered old copy of Peter Pan. I memorized the lines, whispered them like prayers. Second star to the right and straight on till morning. While other kids dreamed of being astronauts or superheroes, I only had one wish: to meet Peter, to go to Neverland, to never grow up. I tied ribbons to my arms and leapt from furniture, convinced I'd fly if I just believed hard enough. But I did, and it hurt. Adulthood came like rust, slow and ugly. I didn't notice it at first, just the creeping sense that everything I did was hollow, performative, one mask after another. I tried to do everything right. College, office job, smile for the company newsletter, meet deadlines, exceed expectations. But nothing ever felt like mine. I was a child in an adult's skin, mimicking motions I didn't understand. Then last Tuesday, I got fired. Restructuring, they called it. I walked out with a cardboard box and a question I couldn't shake. Is this all life is? I didn't go home. I wandered the city instead, faceless in the rush hour blur. Concrete above, filth below. Lights that never blink. People that never look up. Eventually, I found myself climbing the fire escape of a derelict building, half out of curiosity, half because I didn't know where else to go. That's when I saw him. He stood on the rooftop, barefoot and grinning, looking far too young for a place this old. His hair wild, eyes glinting with something between mischief and madness.
Hey,
he said, cocking his head.
You look lost.
I hesitated. Do I know you? His smile widened.
Maybe.
Something about him felt familiar, like a dream I hadn't finished having. He stepped closer.
Tell me something. Do you hate being a grown-up?
I opened my mouth, but no words came. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small glass vial filled with sparkling white powder.
Pixie dust. Want to fly?
I don't know why I took it. Maybe because I wanted to believe. Maybe because I had nothing else to lose. I sprinkled dust on myself and breathed in. It hit instantly. The city lights melted into watercolors. Gravity forgot its job. My heart was weightless, and I was young again, running barefoot in the rain, laughing without reason. And Peter was there holding my hand, saying,
"Welcome back."
That night, he brought me to Neverland. Not the island from the book, but a broken warehouse lit with string lights and painted stars. A dozen other runaways huddled there, dancing, laughing, flying on the dust.
These are the Lost Boys. We don't care how old you are, just how young you feel.
Each of them had stories, whispered between hits. A girl who overdosed on Adderall in a locked library. A boy who jumped off a dorm roof and survived. A dancer whose parents never once came to a recital. Here, there were no clocks, no rules, no names, only dust and freedom. And for a while, I was happy. I forgot about bills, deadlines, disappointments. Peter said we didn't need the past, or the future, just now. Just fly. But reality has sharp teeth. One morning I woke to screaming. Cubby, one of the youngest Lost Boys, was lying twisted near the edge of the rooftop. Limbs bent wrong, face frozen mid-laugh. I wanted to scream, to cry, to run, but the dust, God, the dust, made everything seem like a dream, even death. More days passed, or maybe weeks. Time didn't matter anymore. I started forgetting things. My last name, my old apartment, my face in the mirror. Sometimes I heard voices below, the city calling me back. But Peter would lean close and whisper,
"They never loved you. Not like I do."
And I believed him, until the sirens came. One night, flashing lights lit up Neverland. Uniforms kicked down the doors. Screams tore through the air.
Police, down on the ground! Hands where we can see them!
You're under arrest!
Peter didn't run. He stood in the middle of it all, arms wide, smiling like a martyr.
You're ruining the magic! They were happy here!
A cop slammed him to the ground. The last vial rolled from his hand, shattering on concrete. Tink grabbed me, tears mixing with glitter on her cheeks.
Run! He said if the grown-ups came, we run.
So I did. I sprinted across rooftops, one after another, heart hammering. Behind me, shouts, boots, metal clashing. In front, the last building edge. No ladder, no door, just air, and a 12-story drop. I turned. A spotlight hit my chest.
Stop right there!
No way out. I reached into my coat. My last vial. My last lie. Peter's voice echoed in my head.
You just have to believe.
I tipped the dust into my body. It shimmered. I didn't hesitate. The city blurred. The ground disappeared. I took a step forward, into nothing, and I flew.
I used to believe that fame could fix everything. Not for vanity. I just wanted to be seen. Needed it. I was drowning in debt. Ignored. Invisible. Fame, I thought, would pull me out. Once I was big enough, the brands would come, the money would follow, and everything would finally be okay. The first taste came from a site called Starlinks. Realistic followers. Intelligent engagement. Become who the world wants to follow. I bought the basic package. By morning, I had 150,000 followers. My notifications were on fire. Comments like, "Queen behavior. Obsessed with your vibe. Where have you been all my life?" I cried. I felt seen. Mia, my best friend, messaged me.
This is dangerous.
She warned.
It's fake and it'll swallow you.
I replied, "Just wait. When I blow up, I'll take care of both of us. Promise." She didn't push again. Not yet. I kept buying. 500,000. 1,000,000. 5. 10. I watched my follower count rise like a heartbeat on life support. But offline, I was still nobody. At fashion events, no one recognized me. At restaurants, no one cared about my 10 million followers. No brand replied to my emails. Then came the skeptics. Who even is this girl? How does she have more followers than Taylor Swift? Bot-farmed fraud. Sad. And the exposés. YouTube videos tearing me apart, showing my engagement spikes, fake comments, rented admiration. Then, I saw her, Mia, in one of the interviews, sitting across from a podcaster.
She's not a bad person, but she's addicted. I tried to help. She pushed me away.
I blocked her that night. Traitor! I spat. You'll regret this when I'm really famous. That's when I bought Starlink's Platinum. It included high-grade interaction, AI fan chat, even mannequins with embedded camera lenses to simulate real-life events. I rented a warehouse, built a stage, hung banners with my name in gold, dressed 200 mannequins like adoring fans. My fan meeting streamed live. The night of the event, I wore white, lit just right. I stepped on stage, heart pounding. 146,000 people watching. Hearts floated up like glitter. Comments poured in. "We love you. She's glowing. Fan meet of the year," I sang. I smiled. I thanked them. You believed in me when no one else did. This moment, it's everything. And then, a click. A metal door creaked at the back of the warehouse. Footsteps, slow, heavy. A man stepped into the light. Bald, broad-shouldered, black shirt soaked in sweat. In his hand, a thick steel pipe. He walked down the center aisle, passing rows of mannequins whose empty stares never wavered. My voice faltered. Who are you?" He smiled like someone who'd waited for this moment a long time.
Time's up, sweetheart. You owe us.
I'm live streaming, I stammered. There are thousands watching. He glanced at the camera and snorted.
They're bots. Just like your fame. You paid for this fantasy and now reality's collecting.
I froze. Then he swung the pipe. Crack. A mannequin's head flew clean off, bouncing off the stage. Wham! Another was crushed at the chest, splitting open in a burst of stuffing and plastic. Thud. One was kicked off the platform, its stiff limbs crashing to the floor like a fallen god. I stumbled back, tripping over fallen legs and shattered illusions.
You worship this.
He shouted, smashing another.
10 million lies wearing lipstick.
I screamed into the mic. Someone help me. Please, call the police. The chat exploded. Bro is unhinged. This is insane content, OMG. Scripted or real? He laughed.
They love the drama. Keep screaming.
He grabbed a banner with my face and ripped it in half. Then he turned to me.
You bought love. Now you pay in flesh.
I tried to run. My heel snapped. I hit the floor. The pipe came down crack into my shin. Pain exploded through me. I screamed until my throat bled. 172,000 watching. Wait! Was that real? Bruh, she's crying for real. This live stream is wild. I crawled to the camera. Please, I whispered, barely able to breathe. Someone. He raised the pipe again, but suddenly, a voice cut through the chaos.
Get away from her!
From the shadows, a figure sprinted across the warehouse. Fast, fierce, unstoppable. She gripped a broken mannequin's arm like a club, and with a roar I'd never heard from her before, she swung it with all her strength. I blinked through the blood in my eyes. Mia. She sprayed something into his face. Pepper spray? Then shoved him back with everything she had. Sirens wailed in the distance. She dropped to her knees beside me, arms shaking.
I told you this would destroy you.
Then darkness swallowed me whole. I woke up in a hospital, leg in a cast, phone gone, channel deleted. Mia was asleep in the chair next to me. She had paid off the debt. All of it. Why? I asked, tears streaming down my face. After everything I said? She squeezed my hand.
Because I was the only one really watching you.
Now, I have 43 followers. Just Mia, a few old classmates, my cousin, a girl from high school I barely remember. No brands, no blue check. But I still post. I sing sometimes. I talk about healing, about being honest, about pain. The comments are few, but they're real. You're brave. I'm glad you're okay. This version of you feels human. And for the first time in my life, that's enough.
Ballerina cappuccina.
Tung 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 sahur. Tralalero tralala.
Ballerina cappuccina.
It was one of those days where the air itself felt heavy. Deadlines, coffee jitters, and that migraine that never really goes away. I was exhausted, mentally fried, when I looked up from my screen and nearly screamed. Sam, my co-worker, was standing there smiling. Or something that used to be Sam. Usually pristine and polished. Today she looked like a puppet half alive. Her face was pale and waxy. Her eyes were swallowed in deep, dark rings, and her forehead swollen, as if something inside was pressing outward.
Hello, tralalero, tralala.
She chirped in a sing-song voice that didn't belong to her. I blinked, startled. What? She giggled, her expression twitching between joy and emptiness.
Ugh, you're such a fossil. Haven't you seen the brain rot universe? It's trending on TikTok.
What's it about? I asked. She tilted his head.
It's just brain rot. It doesn't mean anything. That's why it's perfect.
And then she laughed, loud and broken, before walking away. I wish I could say that was the end of it, but it was only the beginning. The next day, more co-workers had the look. Sunken eyes, pale skin, puffy heads like overripe fruit. They wandered the office, muttering absurd phrases.
It's tongue sahur time.
Do you want to try ballerina cappuccino?
And every time they laughed together. Giggles like wind chimes in a hurricane. I didn't understand what was happening. I stopped getting Slack messages, emails, eye contact. No one spoke to me unless I repeated their nonsense. It was like they spoke a new language, and I was suddenly illiterate. Outside the office, it was worse. Random people on the street babbled the same phrases. Whole cafes filled with chuckling strangers, nodding at videos in silence. I felt like a relic, forgotten by time. And still, no one could tell me what brain rot actually was. I found out the hard way. On my way home from the supermarket, I saw a man standing under a flickering street lamp. He was laughing hysterically, phone in hand, eyes bloodshot. The air around him felt wrong. Then the screen of his phone glitched, and something crawled out. A creature, half smoke, half flesh, launched at his face. He screamed, tried to pull it off, but it clung like a parasite. I ran to help, but the thing was already latched onto his skull. He twisted, convulsed. The creature breathed, pulsing like it was drinking him, siphoning blood, thoughts, sanity. When it was done, he collapsed. And then he rose, grinning.
Liri lilarila, cappuccino assassino.
He said softly. I stumbled back, shaking. That was the moment I realized brain rot was real, not just a trend, a parasite spreading like a virus, using content as its doorway. After that night, I saw it everywhere. People collapsed at work. Some clawed at their heads, trying to peel the creature off as it wriggled under their scalp. I tried CPR on one guy, but the monster had already sucked out whatever made him human. It slipped out of him with a wet hiss and vanished, like smoke dissolving in sunlight. The doctor later said he'd suffered a stroke, that his brain had deteriorated from overuse, lack of sleep, screen exposure. His brain had literally rotted. Brain rot. I tried to defend myself. I deleted all my apps, locked my phone away, covered my windows, but it didn't matter. The brain rot videos no longer needed your permission. They played in waiting rooms, office lobbies, subway ads. Sometimes I could hear the audio before I even saw a screen echoing in the back of my skull. Even without looking, I could feel the presence. I fought them off for days. I saw the creatures, swatted them away when they tried to leap at me. But no matter how many I escaped, they just kept multiplying. They were evolving, feeding, and growing bigger. One day, I was surrounded, cornered in an alleyway behind the office, flanked by people I once knew, now brainwashed shells of themselves. Their eyes bulged, their skin sagged like wet cloth, but their mouths, smiling, endlessly smiling. They spoke in unison.
Do you want to try ballerina cappuccino? Tra-la-la, tra-la-la, Saha time.
I covered my ears, shut my eyes. Didn't work. They grabbed me, held me down. I felt fingers pry my eyelids open. Someone shoved a phone inches from my face. The screen flickered. I screamed. Too late. It came. The creature tore through the screen like a riptide and latched onto my face. It was sticky and hot, like liquid panic, forcing itself through my skin, drilling into my skull. I writhed. They held me tighter. The audio looped. The images flashed. Bright, dumb colors and deformed faces dancing over meaningless music. It was torture. It was hollow. And then, something shifted. I stopped fighting. Suddenly it felt nice, light, funny. The sounds weren't meaningless anymore. They were funny. I smiled, I giggled. Do din 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 do. I felt the rock settle into my brain like a warm bath. The pain vanished. Everything made sense now. Ballerina cappuccino. Tralalero tralala. I looked up at the others, my new family, and we laughed together. And now I see you. You're still watching, aren't you? Go ahead. Scroll down. Just once more. Let brain rot in.
No! I don't want to eat sahur!
Tun 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 sahur. Share this with friends who don't eat sahur.
I remember the TikTok. It was meant to be a joke. It had millions of views. Millions. I wanted that for my channel. Anato 6. So I booked my flight to Indonesia. We picked a narrow alley in Yogyakarta. Quiet, grimy, lit only by the dim orange of half-working street lamps. I hired a local actor to wear a ridiculous costume I designed. Exaggerated limbs, painted mask, cartoonish bat. Locals warned us. One old man stared us down, muttered something in Bahasa that I barely caught.
Jangan main-main. Itu bukan untuk lelucon.
My fixer translated, eyes low.
He said, "Don't play with what you don't understand."
We laughed. Come on, it's just a meme. I even shouted down the alley, arms raised. If the real Tung Tung Sahur is out there, come on, show yourself, give us a scare. We laid out a full spread. Nasi lemak, beef rendang, sweet tea. Everything framed perfectly under our soft lights. The plan was simple. I'd pretend to sleep on a mat while our actor banged a drum 3 times off screen. Tongue, tongue, tongue. I don't respond. Then, on the 4th beat, he storms in, smacks me with the bat, shoves food in my mouth and dances to the audio.
Tung 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 sahur. A terrifying anomaly that only appears during sahur.
We hit record. The first takes were hilarious, until they weren't. On the final shot, just after our actor finished his bit and stepped off camera, tongue, a 4th drum beat. But no one was supposed to hit it yet. I sat up. Who did that? No answer. Our cameraman, Buddy, chuckled, unsure.
Wasn't me.
Then tongue, tongue, 2 more. But this sound wasn't part of our gear. It was deeper, wetter, like something rotting was vibrating inside the drumhead. Then, tongue, the 4th. The lights blew out, street lamps dimmed to a dying ember, and something stood behind the feast. It was not our actor. This thing was taller, broader. Its mask wasn't foam, it was real wood, rotting and splintered. The bat in its hand wasn't fake. It was gnarled, heavy, and stained with something dark. We froze. I tried to laugh. Okay, who's messing with us? But my voice cracked. Budi stepped forward.
I'm checking this out.
He reached for the mask. The thing moved like lightning. Crack. The bat dropped onto his head. His skull collapsed like an eggshell. Blood sprayed across the table. Then came the screaming. We ran, split down different alleys, stumbling through tight corridors and flickering shadows. Behind me, tongue, a slow beat. Then ahead, tongue. It didn't run, it didn't need to. It knew the alleys better than us. It herded us. One by one, my team vanished. I heard Nia's voice, our assistant, crying, choking, then crack. I ducked into a mushola, a small neighborhood prayer room. Inside, an old man sat cross-legged, whispering prayers. He didn't look up.
You brought it here. You mocked the Sahur call. You summoned judgment.
I begged him for help.
You turned sacred rhythm into performance. And now you must face the consequences. You don't belong here.
He said coldly.
Run.
I found an empty house a few doors down. Dead plants, cracked windows, something ancient in the dust. I locked the door, shoved a chair under the knob, collapsed in the corner. But then, tongue. I jolted awake. Tongue. No, please. Not again. Tongue. The third beat. Then the fourth. It stooped to pass through the doorway, impossibly tall, a towering silhouette that defied reason. Its mask was fractured, the broken pieces revealing dark, hollow voids beneath, pulsing hunger.
Wake up and eat.
I ran. It followed. Through the rotting house, smashing through walls like they were paper. I tripped, fell down a staircase, felt my shins snap. I crawled. It caught me. It didn't kill me. It broke me. One arm, then the other, legs next. It set me upright like a doll at the dinner table, the one we had prepared.
You will not waste Sahur.
It hissed. It shoved cold renda into my mouth. I gagged, vomited. It scooped it up, shoved it back in.
You prepared this meal.
It whispered.
You will finish it.
I don't know how long it went on. I chewed through the tears, through pain, through blood and bile. Because if I didn't, it beat me harder. Until the plate was clean, until the table was empty. And when it was satisfied, it stood, looked down on me, silent, then turned, and vanished into the dark. I collapsed to the floor. Everything in me screamed. My stomach twisted, my limbs hung uselessly. But worse than the pain was what settled in my chest. Regret. Not for chasing the views, not for flying halfway around the world for a video, but for the blasphemy, for making a meme out of something sacred, for mocking what others revere, for turning ritual into spectacle, faith into content.